Got my turpentine in my medium cups. I'm gonna pour some medium in there as well. And since I'm gonna be doing a smaller than life painting, little sketch, you can see that the canvas is like much closer to my viewing point and farther away from the model. And so I'm still doing sight size, having the 1-to-1 comparison between the model and my painting. So it's important to remember when you're setting up a portrait, head and shoulders, that, because as of right now my painting sort of ends here, and I just don't want there to be these sort of like arms being cut off. And so if there's a way to find a bit of gesture that sort of like sweeps across, that can be done by sort of getting a pillow or some fabrics, the background, and if she just leans, let's see. Yeah. That looks good. Could you put your elbow like in more? Is that possible? And then so what I'm probably gonna have to do, and hopefully Emily doesn't get too hot, but I'm gonna sort of have her drape these around her arms.
Just get rid of them.
As like a sort of shawl to add some more like rhythm, and then, yeah, here. Yeah, so we're just gonna, this is just a little sketchy sketch. So I'm gonna go ahead, make sure my canvas is in the right spot. The top of it is lining up just a few inches above. The bottom is just above her arms. So there. And then, I mean, if you turn a bit towards this way, a little bit more, yeah, that's great. Okay, and I am not going to be taking really any more measurements than that, top and bottom of the head, because this is a poster, there's a little composition sketch. So okay, now that I have a sort of like envelope of the big shapes, I'm gonna go ahead and do the background. Probably shouldn't be. And as you can see, this painting has a like an imprimatur on it, so that is gonna provide like a nice like middle ground for me. And it's like gonna be sort of like the values of the light of her skin. Not the highlights, but the light. And so that's gonna be nice because that means I can paint the darks and the highlights sort of into it. But you could go a little on the darker side so that it's like almost the halftones in the light rather than the light. So I'm just mixing up a sort of pile of paint with my brush. And I'm not sure how accurate this will be, but just gotta place it down to see what sort of changes I need to make. A little dark. Okay. And I'm gonna go ahead, get another brush. Okay, I have another brush. I'm using big brushes because I'm not doing the details. I'm just getting sort of big shapes and big value color areas. So for the shirt, I'm just getting lead white, yellow ochre, vermilion, and black. It's quite a reddish brown. Very warm. A little lighter, a little warmer. Okay, so it's really flat right now. It's all right, because what I'm gonna do is to the hair. You always want to be painting what's furthest off from nature. So right now, I have the Manifattura, and it's like not too far off from the shawl going across her arms, and it's also not too far from the light shape of her skin. So that's why I did the background, the shirt, and now I'm going to be doing the hair, because the hair is much darker. And I'm basically just thinking in values, not so much colors. Now, I feel the need to establish some more darks in the background. So, And I'm gonna get a little smaller of a brush. And get some medium on it. And I'm going to be painting the light for skin. So I'm getting flake white, yellow ochre, and vermilion. It's a very warm skin in this light. I think the warm sort of green brings that out, which is nice. And it's gonna get a little bit darker and a little bit more yellow. Now would be not a bad time to just put in some simple features. Again, I'm really not being that fussed. I haven't measured. I'm just remembering that the purpose of this is to sort of just see some shapes and colors. Okay, so again, it's about value relations. So what I'm going to do is I want to get some nice accents in the background. So there's this, there. And then I'm going to go ahead and get that white in the collar. Got some medium, got a small brush, lots of white. I'm going to go ahead and plop it in there. Okay, now I can see I need some accents in the shirt as well. So, dark accents. Give her a bit more depth. So, nice warm dark accent on that left collar. And then just gonna go ahead and put an armpit in there. And then we really need, it's probably gonna be a combination of this shoulder getting lighter, but I'm gonna go ahead and do the background darker first. So some blue, some black, bit of yellow, some red, maybe a bit more. Okay. And I'm squinting. Always. I'm quite a wrinkly person because of it, I think. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and, I could really stop at any point here, but we'll just see. Because I can already see how the value relations are working between background, shadow, dark bit of the background with a darker bit of the hair. There's just a lot of really nice lost and found edges. And that comes with getting the right background, but also having, you know, there's a bit of variety in my background. It's kind of it's not just flat, so that does help. We also have our cast shadow. So this is more than sufficient enough for a composition sketch. But I have a model sitting here for me, and I'm quite interested in this composition, so I'm gonna explore it a little bit more. And I guess now that I'm thinking about it, one of the good things about doing a sketch is that you can see the variety of sort of poses that sort of naturally appear when you maybe take a break, and the model gets sort of readjusted into the pose. And so, you know, you could get the study done really quick, but it might be good to explore it a little bit longer so you can see that variety. And it might be better, might be worse. Just gotta check it out. See, and this is where you start to lose like the initial kind of impression, where it's really simple, really fresh. And the whole point of the study is that you can kind of have a note of that. The first like really like simple impression that you made. So that you can look back on it while you're doing your, you know, big project. So do not get carried away like I currently am. Very good. Did what I needed. Cool. That is my poster study, composition study, color study. Give me an idea of what the painting will look like. And now I'm gonna sort of set up another one and see what I think about that.